Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome on down back to the Axe Slinger. Today on Gear Reviews, we check out this Marshall Vintage Modern. This amplifier is the 2266 variant, meaning 50 watts. This thing comes with KT66 power tubes, and it's definitely a Marshall all on to its own. When the Vintage Modern first came out, it was very misunderstood. It's a single channel amplifier with two filters for a high and a low dynamic boost section. So what that means is you can basically dial in a dynamic range for a low, which will give you a little bit more of a cleaner, less compressed sound. And then when you switch over to the high dynamic range, then you get more of that late 70s, early 80s kind of hair metal sound. So you have a built-in reverb, and it's not too overpowering. I like it because it's subtle, and I only leave it at about a 1 anyway, just for a little bit some ambiance to give it some thicken, in the tone. Master volume, you have a presence, bass, middle, treble. You have a detail and a body. Now, the easiest way to describe this is you have to work with both. The detail is kind of like your high ice picky end, and then your body is the low end or the bass. So the way this works is you want to essentially make a balance between the two to give you a really good overall tone. So what we basically do here is dial in our high and our low. And I find that if you have the body at least a 2 or 3 volume behind the detail, that's when you're going to get the absolute best sound. And then there's your input. Now, it does have an effects loop. All I'm running in the back is just a little bit of some slap delay. I like some delay behind my rhythm and leads. That is it. There's nothing else running on this. So let's go ahead and let's check out what this thing sounds like on the low dynamic range. Now, one thing I'll notice to mention to you guys is it's extremely touch sensitive. It's an extension of the guitar. If you pick lightly, it's going to respond light. If you pick heavy, then it's going to pick that up. So the other thing is that this amp is extremely sensitive to the volume of your guitar. In fact, I find this thing sounds the best if you don't dime your volume. Do it the old days in the 70s, and the rockers would use the volume knob as your boost. Put it down to about a 6 or 7. Roll it up for your boost like Ace Frehley would do. Okay? So let's continue to see what this thing sounds like on the low dynamic range. Sounds really nice and warm. If you switch to the bass pickup, it responds to low end very good too. beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely beautiful. Let's hear what it sounds like on the middle position. Sounds incredible. Incredible. So I'm not going to really spend too much time dialing in all the different tones of this amp. You know how I do my reviews. I dial it in how I like it to sound. If you want to get my kind of sound, what I've got is I've got the reverb at 1. My master volume is at about a 4. My presence is at 6. I feel like Marshall's presence lives in around the 6. My bass is at 8. My mids are at a 7, and my treble is at a 3. Okay. Now there is a mid boost function that kind of, boosts the mids a little bit more edgier sound. You want that for single coil. Because I'm using a humbucker guitar, you're not gonna really need that. It basically just boosts the low end, which is what you need on a single coil. My detail is at 8, and my body is at 5. Okay, so again, general rule of thumb, at least at 2 or 3 volumes behind the detail. Otherwise, it's going to get too mushy. Now, let's go ahead and check out what this thing sounds like on the high dynamic range. So as you can see, this thing is extremely articulate. If you suck, the amp's gonna suck. If you know how to use it, it's going to make you sound like a much better player on your guitar. Much better. So what I'm going to do is dime back the volume at about 6 on both the rhythm and treble, and you're gonna see how you can use it for rhythm and then switch into some leads with the boost. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the rhythm tones first. So as you can see, this thing is fucking killer. I love it. I think it's a great amp. They're getting really, really, really hard to find. They got discontinued. They really weren't, you know, veiled as like a great amp when they first came out, unfortunately. They're just very misunderstood amp. They didn't realize that it's basically a modern version of a JTEM 45 or Plexi. It's just hot rodded, and by that it means it has an extra preamp gain stage. Okay, so if you guys can find one, I recommend that you do. And if you're looking for that 70s, 80s rock, this is the amp. I mean, I know everybody says JCM 800, but this thing is fucking killer, and I think you should try it. Yeah, it's a great amp. So I'm gonna rock out a little bit more on this thing, and then I'll let you guys go. All right, let's hear some more of this thing.